This person has been secretly testing you to see if you truly. My beloved child, very few people around you know the truth of what has been happening behind your back, but you are about to hear something that will shift the ground beneath your feet. Someone you never expected, someone who smiles at you softly, watches you quietly, and pretends they hardly care, has actually been testing you, observing you, decoding every move you make, just to see if your heart is genuine or if your loyalty is real. And listen carefully, they weren't testing you out of doubt, but out of fear. Fear of losing someone rare. Fear of misreading the one soul that feels like destiny. They have been placing small situations in front of you, some frustrating, some silent, some confusing, not to hurt you, but to measure your patience, your honesty, your ability to hold love even when things don't go your way. They wanted to see if your intentions were real or temporary. And my child, every time they tested you, you passed in ways you didn't even realize. Every moment they tried to distance themselves, you showed consistency. Every time they pretended to ignore you, your energy still found a way to reach them. Every time they pushed you away emotionally, your presence returned like truth returning to the surface. And this has shaken them more than anything. Something huge is waiting for you, and right now, you have no idea how deeply this person has been moved by your actions. Amen. Blessing 111. My chosen listener, you need to understand how far this person went just to understand your soul. They asked mutual friends subtle questions about you. They purposely delayed replies to see if you would lose patience. They pretended to forget small details just to see if you would remind them gently or react emotionally. They even created moments of silence to test whether your care was conditional or unconditional. They wanted to know, do you truly see them? Do you truly value them? Do you truly feel something deeper? And the shocking part is, your responses weren't planned, weren't polished, weren't artificial. They came straight from your heart. And this is exactly what scared them the most, because they realized they cannot manipulate your authenticity. Your soul is too natural. Too rare. They started noticing the things you didn't say. The way you waited. The way you stayed respectful even when you were hurt. The way you never tried to force anything, yet your presence had a power that made them question their entire understanding of love. And now, this person is trembling inside because the tests they made for you have become tests they failed themselves. They wanted to know if you truly care, but now they are the one who cannot stop caring. Every test they created has turned into a mirror, reflecting how deeply they feel for you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 222. My awakened child, the next thing I'm about to tell you will make your heartbeat shift, because the biggest test of all is the one they created recently, and you passed it without even knowing you were being watched. They intentionally pulled back their energy, acted distant, cold, or unavailable, hoping to see if your interest would fade. But instead, you did something that shook them completely. You didn't chase, but you didn't disappear. You didn't beg, but you didn't detach. You didn't demand answers, but your soul remained connected. You held a space within you that felt safe, mature, and unshakable, and that reaction exposed your true nature so loudly that they can no longer pretend they don't see it. Now they realize, you were never the one being tested. They were testing themselves, testing if they were worthy of someone as stable, deep, and sincere as you. And this realization is breaking every wall they built around their heart. Soon, very soon, they are going to reveal something you never expected, a confession, an explanation, a truth that will make everything click. They have been preparing for this moment because every test led to one final answer: you are real. You are rare. You are the one they can't walk away from. Something huge is waiting for you, and what comes next will rewrite the connection between you forever. Amen. Blessing 333. My beloved child, what I'm about to reveal will tighten your chest because this is the part they never wanted anyone to know. The truth is, this person didn't test you out of insecurity alone. There was another reason, a deeper one, a reason they have hidden even from themselves. They have been hurt before, betrayed before, chosen last before, and their heart learned to expect loss before love. So when you appeared with that honest energy, with that quiet loyalty, with that effortless compassion, it terrified them. It made them question everything they believed about human intentions. They thought you would disappear like everyone else. They assumed your consistency was temporary. They believed your kindness had an expiry date. So they created emotional obstacles to confirm their fears. But every time they built a wall, you responded with a softness that destroyed it without even trying. And now they sit alone, replaying every moment, every reaction, every word you ever said, because the truth is finally sinking in: they were not prepared to meet someone as emotionally real as you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 444. My restless soul, you need to hear this part because it explains the sudden shifts, the mixed signals, the strange patterns this person displayed. They would open up one day and retreat the next. They would smile at you with warmth, then pretend they didn't notice you at all. They would message with excitement, then vanish without explanation. You thought they were confused. But in reality, they were observing. Every reaction of yours was being silently recorded in their heart. They wanted to see how you respond to distance, how you react to silence, how your energy behaves when you don't get what you want. And the most shocking thing is, you surprised them every single time. You didn't beg. You didn't crumble. You didn't become dramatic. You simply remained yourself, steady, sincere, self-contained. That scared them more than anything, because it revealed something powerful: you are not desperate. You are genuine. And genuine souls are the hardest to replace. Now they feel something they didn't expect: responsibility. A responsibility to match your depth. A responsibility to stop playing safe. A responsibility to finally show up the way you deserve. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 555. My chosen one, let me tell you the moment that changed everything for them, the moment when the testing stopped and the realization began. It happened recently, unexpectedly, during a conversation, an interaction, or a situation where they pushed you a little too far. Maybe they ignored your message longer than usual. Maybe they acted colder than they intended. Maybe they pretended not to care when they actually cared too much. But your reaction shocked them. Instead of reacting from ego, you responded from heart. Instead of matching their coldness, you remained respectful. Instead of walking away, you stayed steady. That moment hit them like thunder. They saw the purity of your intentions, the depth of your patience, the truth of your emotions. And in that exact moment, they stopped observing you, and started admiring you. Now, they are no longer testing you, they are testing themselves. Testing if they are worthy of someone who carries this level of emotional sincerity. Testing if they can rise to the level of connection you naturally offer. Testing if they can finally open their heart without fear of being broken again. And soon, very soon, they will make a move that will change the dynamic forever. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 666. My beloved child, now we enter the deepest part of their hidden intentions, the part even they hesitate to admit. This person has been testing you because something about you feels dangerously important to them. Not dangerous in a harmful way, but dangerous in the sense that losing you would break something inside them that they would never be able to fix again. They have tried convincing themselves that their feelings are exaggerated, that you are just another temporary chapter, that they can walk away anytime, but every time they tried, their soul pulled them back to you as if destiny itself refused to let the connection fade. They wanted to know if you truly cared or if they were just imagining your sincerity. They created distance, delays, hesitation, silence, all to see how your heart reacts when it's not being fed attention. But the moment that shook them the most was when you didn't get angry or bitter, you simply stayed true. Your energy didn't twist. Your emotions didn't corrupt. Your loyalty didn't fade. They asked themselves, how can someone remain so stable when I keep pulling away? And that question has been echoing through their mind every night. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 777. My guarded soul, what you don't know is that this person has been losing sleep over you. They replay your conversations in their mind. They analyze your reactions with precision. They watch how you behave with others, how you speak, how you move, how you protect your peace. They have been gathering emotional evidence, trying to convince themselves that what they feel is real, that what they sense between you isn't just attachment but something far deeper, something spiritual, something destined, something frighteningly pure. They compare you with everyone they ever met, and no matter how hard they try, no one measures up to the grace you carry. Do you know what their biggest realization is? You were not being tested. You were revealing their own wounds to them. Your consistency exposed their fear of abandonment. Your gentleness exposed their defensive walls. Your sincerity exposed their inability to trust. You didn't just pass their tests, you showed them the areas of themselves they must heal before stepping toward you fully. And this is why they have been quieter lately, more thoughtful, more introspective. They are preparing. Preparing for a conversation that will break the unfinishedness between you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 888. My divine listener, listen carefully because this revelation will shake your understanding of this connection. They didn't test you to judge you, they tested you because subconsciously they were trying to determine if you were their safe place. They have never had someone who chooses them for who they are, not for what they can offer. They have never experienced a connection where emotional purity feels stronger than expectation. And so they watched you like one watches a rare phenomenon, quietly, intensely, without blinking. Recently, they experienced a moment of clarity, something you said, something you did, or simply the way your energy felt that day, made them realize that their tests are over. You have already proven who you are without even knowing there was something to prove. And now something inside them is awakening, a desire they kept buried, a longing they kept locked, a truth they kept hidden. They are preparing to step out of their comfort zone, to drop their guards, to express what has been held back for too long. And when this truth comes out, it will not just clarify the connection, it will redefine it completely. Something huge is waiting for you, and the moment is closer than you think. Amen. Blessing 999. My beloved child, now we enter the phase where the truth becomes too heavy for them to hide, where the tests they designed have turned into emotional pressure they can no longer carry. This person, the one who kept watching you silently, is now struggling with a realization that feels almost unreal to them. You were never the unpredictable one, they were. They expected you to break, to react, to expose a flaw, to reveal an inconsistency, but instead, every test they created ended up exposing their own vulnerability. You showed reliability while they showed fear. You showed patience while they showed confusion. You showed heart while they showed hesitation. And now they are overwhelmed by the depth you carry, because they finally see that you were the stable foundation in this entire connection. They thought they were evaluating you, but now they feel like the ground beneath them is evaluating them, asking whether they deserve someone who loves with this much purity. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 1111. My divine seeker, what I'm about to reveal will make your chest freeze for a moment. This person, yes, the one who acted indifferent, the one who pretended not to care, the one who made you feel like your presence didn't affect them, has been battling an internal storm. Every distance they created became a punishment for them, not you. Every silence they used as a test only made them think about you more intensely. They wanted to see if you would stay, but the truth is, they were the one who couldn't stay away from you. They watched everything, how you behaved when you were ignored, how your eyes softened when they entered a room, how your energy dimmed when they pulled back, how your spirit brightened when they showed the smallest bit of warmth. And the most shocking part? They noticed that you never tried to manipulate anything. Your emotions were raw, honest, untouched by ego. That realization broke something inside them, because they have never met someone whose love wasn't a performance. They tested your patience. You responded with grace. They tested your loyalty. You responded with presence. They tested your silence. You responded with peace. And now, they are the one who feels tested by destiny itself, questioned by their own heart, pushed to make a move they can no longer delay. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 1212. My awakened soul, the part coming next is the reason your energy has felt unstable lately, the reason you've sensed something shifting beneath the surface. They are preparing for a moment that will change everything, a moment where they stop hiding behind tests and start revealing the truth behind their actions. They have been rehearsing what to say. They have been writing messages and deleting them. They have been imagining conversations that they are too scared to start. They have been wondering if you would understand, if you would forgive, if you would still want them after knowing they were testing your intentions from the beginning. And this fear is eating them alive, because now they realize something life-altering. They weren't testing your loyalty, they were testing whether they were worthy of your loyalty. And every time you responded with authenticity, it exposed a part of their heart they didn't want to confront. They cannot delay this any longer. Something inside them is pushing, pulling, urging them to step toward you, because destiny will not let them sit in silence anymore. The next move they make will reveal everything: why they tested you, what they feared, what they feel, and what they finally want with you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 13:13. My beloved child, now we step into the part where their fear and longing collide, creating the emotional explosion they can no longer hide. This person who has been silently testing you is now terrified of losing you. Not because of anything you did, but because they finally realized how deeply you have affected them. They thought they were in control, they thought they were the one observing, the one measuring, the one choosing. But now they see the truth: you are the one who changed the entire direction of this connection without saying a single forced word. They replay your reactions in their mind like a film they cannot stop watching. That moment when you remained calm in their silence. That moment you spoke kindly even when they were distant. That moment you didn't force anything, yet your presence still reached them. Those moments have become their weakness. Now they're the one questioning: what if I lose this person? What if someone else sees their worth first? What if my tests push them too far? And these questions keep them awake at night. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 14:14. My destined listener, what you don't know is that this person has recently gone through a powerful emotional shift, something they didn't expect, something they were not mentally prepared for. They observed you long enough to understand one thing with absolute clarity: your heart is not like other hearts. It doesn't turn cold quickly. It doesn't react from ego. It doesn't seek validation or attention for survival. Your heart loves differently, quietly, maturely, fearlessly. And that is exactly what has disarmed their defenses. They have never experienced someone whose love cannot be manipulated, whose emotions cannot be predicted, whose loyalty cannot be bought. They tried provoking your impatience, you showed understanding. They tried creating confusion, you responded with stability. They tried stepping away, you stayed rooted. And now they are overwhelmed, because your reactions weren't the reactions of someone temporary. They were the reactions of someone who loves with soul, not impulse. This realization has cracked something inside them, forcing them to confront the truth: they have feelings for you that are no longer deniable. Feelings they tried to test, hide, suppress, but feelings that grew stronger with every test they placed before you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 15:15. My enlightened soul, the moment you've been sensing, the heaviness in the air, the emotional pull, the intuitive nudges, is happening because they are at the verge of revealing everything. Their tests are over. Their silence is ending. Their emotional walls are thinning. They are preparing to tell truth after truth, truth they were too scared to admit, truth they buried under hesitation, truth they masked with distance. And here is the secret they have been holding back the longest: they were not testing your love, they were testing if they were capable of receiving love. Your sincerity scared them because it showed them a version of love they could never manufacture. Your patience frightened them because it revealed their own lack of emotional maturity. Your presence confused them because it felt too real, too important, too close to destiny. And now, they are finally ready to step out of the shadows of their tests and into the light of honesty. They know they cannot risk losing you. They know this connection is once in a lifetime. They know it's time to stop hiding and start choosing. And very soon, sooner than you think, they will show you a side of themselves you've never seen before. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 16:16. My beloved child, what you are about to hear now is the part they have buried the deepest, the part they prayed no one would ever discover, because it exposes the rawest truth behind their secret tests. This person wasn't only observing your actions, they were observing their own heartbeat around you. Every time you walked away, something inside them collapsed. Every time you came closer, something inside them awakened. They wanted to measure if your presence was truly meant for their life, or if it was another temporary blessing destined to fade. So they tested you not once, not twice, but again and again, because each time they saw you remain pure, they panicked even more. They were scared because you represent everything they thought they would never receive: loyalty without force, affection without expectations, honesty without manipulation, and emotional depth without drama. They didn't know what to do with someone like you. Your energy intimidated them because it felt too powerful, too healing, too honest. And honesty is the one thing they have run from all their life. You didn't just pass their tests, you exposed their fear of real connection. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 17:17. My destined soul, the truth becomes heavier here, because this is where their internal war finally began. They tried to keep their feelings controlled, hidden, managed, but the more they tested you, the more their heart betrayed their logic. They started noticing how their mood shifted when you appeared. How your absence bothered them more than they expected. How their chest tightened when someone else complimented you. How your silence felt like a storm they couldn't escape. They watched the way you carried yourself, with resilience, with calmness, with emotional dignity, and it forced them to confront their own immaturity. They wanted to see if you truly cared, but instead, they discovered how deeply they cared about you. They began creating distance not because you did something wrong, but because they were afraid of how much power you had over their emotions. And yet, even in the distance, everything reminded them of you. A song. A random message. A memory. A thought. A place. Their tests became their obsession, and their obsession became their awakening. They realized the reason they tested you so much was because somewhere deep inside, they already knew, you are the one person who could either heal them or destroy them emotionally. And that fear made them run, but destiny kept pulling them back. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 18:18. My awakened listener, now we reach the turning point, the moment when they could no longer pretend that their tests were harmless. They recently had an emotional breakdown, a moment where the truth hit them so intensely that they had no choice but to accept what their soul has been screaming for months: you are the person they want, the person they need, the person they cannot replace. They realized that their tests were pushing away the very blessing they were praying for. They realized that every time they doubted you, they were actually doubting their own worthiness. They realized that no amount of testing could ever match the purity you carry naturally. And the biggest realization of all, the one that shattered their defenses, was this: you cared for them even when they didn't make it easy to care. You stayed emotionally present even when they hid. You remained sincere even when they acted cold. You showed understanding even when they lacked clarity. And now, they are overwhelmed with a truth they can no longer deny: you are the real one, the rare one, the one they cannot lose. Their next step is not a test, it is a confession. They are preparing to reveal why they acted the way they did, what they felt, what they feared, and what they want from here on. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 1919. My beloved child, this is the moment where the truth becomes undeniable, where their silent tests collide with the feelings they've been resisting for far too long. This person, yes, the very one who pretended to be unaffected, has reached a breaking point within themselves. They tried so hard to stay detached, to act normal, to pretend nothing special was happening, but their soul refused to cooperate. Your consistency, your patience, your depth, it all became too powerful for them to ignore. They realized something life-changing: they cannot keep you close and keep testing you at the same time. The truth is, they have already fallen for you far deeper than they ever intended. And now, every test they once used to measure you is now haunting them, because they fear you might one day test them back, and they know they wouldn't survive it. Their biggest fear now is not whether you care, it's whether they still deserve the kind of heart you carry. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 2020. My destined heart, what I'm about to reveal next is the part they have been fighting within themselves every single day. This person never wanted to admit how intense their feelings became. So they kept testing you, hoping the tests would prove their emotional detachment. But instead, every test strengthened their attachment. When you stayed calm, they fell deeper. When you stayed respectful, they fell harder. When you stayed present, they fell completely. And now they're overwhelmed because they see something they cannot unsee: your energy is the safest place their heart has ever known. That realization cracked them open. They started noticing how their body reacts around you, how their breath stabilizes, how their anxiety calms, how their heart softens. They've tried to deny it, but denial no longer works. They have reached the emotional point where pretending is impossible. And with every passing moment, the pressure to tell you the truth grows stronger. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 2121. My divine listener, now the revelation arrives, the one you have been sensing in your intuition, in your dreams, in the sudden shifts around you. This person is preparing for a moment that will change everything between you. Their tests are over. Their silence is cracking. Their fear is melting. They are ready to step forward, not as someone who hides behind questions, but as someone who finally admits answers. They want to tell you why they tested you, what they feared, and how deeply they have fallen for you without meaning to. They want to explain the moments they pulled away, the nights they missed you, the days they watched you silently, the times they wished they could just reach out and tell you everything. They want to reveal the truth they've been carrying. You are the person their heart chose long before their mind accepted it. And now, destiny is pushing them toward you with a force they cannot resist. Their confession, their clarity, their decision, it's all aligning. And when they speak, every test will make sense, every silence will have meaning, and every hidden emotion will finally come to light. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 22:22.